Yep, I did press the wrong intro button. You get a cut-off intro. Sorry about that. Welcome to back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am the Crushinator. We are here with Division C West. Macro Machines taking on U.S. Army Esports in tonight's best of 3. I've put my Stream Deck now on the proper folder. We're going to do a quick check here. Look at that. That goes perfectly. I pressed the button to start the, the fancy intro, and I didn't see the transition over there, and I was like, I'm in the wrong set of folders. So you got half an intro. Sorry about that, everyone. Wono redeemed drink water. I got you. Our 10 players are in the lobby. If you like scuffed Heroes of the Storm casting, you're at the right place. If you're over on Twitch, make sure you follow the channel. See every time I go live with another Heroes of the Storm live cast. You can also watch simultaneously over on YouTube. I've got the live cast there, as well as the spoiler-free VODs, summary videos, short videos, all that great stuff. YouTube.com/@CrushCasts. Make sure you check that out as well. Teams are getting the pleasantries out of the way. Let them know that I'm ready to go at their leisure, and we'll get started in just a moment. Oh, we're late on a Saturday night. Don't normally cast this late into the evening, but it's a weekend, so I thought, we'll pick something up. We don't normally get over to the West divisions. But this one, pretty reasonable time, starting 10 p.m. Eastern. I felt that I could get to this one. You got 44k channel points. It's true I don't have, big major redemptions on the channel point front anymore. But I am going to try to put up some predictions. People want to throw some bananas in there, support their team. We'll get that going. Ours are starting to come out, so let's go over to map select. See what the situation is here. Macro Machines banning away Dragonshire and Towers of Doom. U.S. Army Esports removing Cursed Hollow and Alterac Pass, and they've chosen to bring us to Infernal Shrines here for game number 1. The 3-2-1's going out. Let's get to draft. Infernal Shrines. Draft number 1 going underway here on our most popular of maps. See if there's going to be any target banning in the opening, any focus onto something fun, like maybe an Artanis. We do have an Artanis player here on Macro Machines, Hoku, a fellow Artanis enjoyer. We'll see if that's going to be the truth this series, or if Hoku is indeed going to play reasonable heroes. Praxis does remain on the table, as Brightwing is banned away. How you doing, idioms? How you doing, the sound? Hope you're having a great late night here on a Saturday. Brightwing about as standard as it gets from the ban phase. I imagine Johanna will be removed here by U.S. Army Esports unless they've got something cooking for the Crusader. What are the thoughts here? There goes Johanna. So those are kind of the big two that you want to take care of regardless. Infernal Shrines, you want to control the Bruiser power. You want to control the long-range Mage power. Your Mephistos, your Chromies, your Junkrats, from being able to just poke into the pit from the outside for free. Vala going to be the top ban here from Macro Machines. Definitely, I think I can pretty comfortably say Vala is the strongest assassin just in a vacuum in Heroes of the Storm right now. Very understandable ban as Junkrat is removed, so no Bruisers banned off the top, and that does mean Hogger goes over to Hoku. I imagine we're looking at a Blaze response if we're going macro off or meta off laners. Tahaka's another one that tends to come through. Though, they all kind of do well. Sonya, Leoric, are all both fine here. Even Maltheo can do some work if your team's willing to put the resources in to protect him. Let's see what our first two are going to be. B-Sanger going for the Tychus, that one guy on Anduin. Anduin's kind of the number 2 after Brightwing right now, so locking that up early makes some sense. Tychus to make sure that the Hogger can't sit there forever. It's a good counter pick there. Ratson and Jimmy Bob Joe going Muradin Oriole. Interesting. Oriole's not one that we see an awful lot. So Tychus is going to be within range of Oriole, you know, displacement. Anduin should be definitely out of range. Oriole I see sometimes as a counter pick to a Varian, just because Varian's always coming in on straight lines and is not unstoppable while doing so. But taking the Oriole with no damage selected is a bit of a gamble here from Macro Machines, as Sylvanas is to be removed. Looking at the Tychus Anduin, they might be thinking about a Varian here, a Nubrak, Diablo, both ones that can go well with this sort of setup. They're worried about the Stitches. Interesting. Stitches Anduin is a combo that you can do just for sort of a pick comp. I figured with Hogger Muradin on the front line, they wouldn't be too worried about that. Well, Tychus can burn down pretty much anyone, so if it's executed well, the Kidnap comp is quite powerful. But I figured it would be more of a hard engage here with this Tychus, so we are going to see Blaze Diablo. Yeah, just go heavy on the front line, charge in there, let Tychus catch up and do the cleanup. Last two picks here for Macro Machines. They need some damage, something to work with this Oriole. Lunara can do it, Gul'dan can do it. Lots of different heroes can get this done. Zul'jin is one I might be looking for, as Sonya's picked by Dark Knight. Tassadar here by Arcane 13th. Okay. Tassadar's sustained damage is fine. It's very ability-based. But solo backline Tassadar is not one that I've seen a lot, though. In this case, I think it can work out because Sonya and Hogger are such high damage bruisers that even though Tassadar's overall damage doesn't scale until much later, I think they might be okay in the early game with that setup. Last pick here, Kael'thas for me. Okay, I was thinking it might be a Mephisto coming in there, but looks like really, really focusing on that front line, adding the Kael'thas into the mix. So US Army Esports, this is absolutely a frontline killer comp, and there's 3 enemy frontliners. So they will have their choice of targets here. Macro Machines, a very interesting setup that they've got 2 really powerful bruisers on the bruiser map, so we'll see how they can do. Game number 1 is underway here. On the left in the blue, we have Macro Machines. Jimmy Bob Joe on the Oriole, Arcane 13th on Tassadar, Dark Knight on Hogger, Ratson on Muradin, and Hoku playing the Sonya. On the right in the red, US Army Esports, Meep on Kael'thas, B-Sanger on Tychus, that one guy on Anduin, Ace Boogie on the Diablo, and Frack is playing Blaze. Game number 1 is underway. Just Poet, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. The early pressure mounts here. The sound talking about Diablo Blaze being possibly unkillable. By Tassadar, so here there is percent damage in their comp. Headbanger on 16 for Hogger is percent damage. Sonya Slam build, that's percent damage on 16. And Tassadar can take the Q talent on 16 for percent damage. So I think until then, you're pretty correct. Diablo's going to feel very much invincible unless he just stands in damage forever. But at 16, if they take all of those percent talents, Blaze Diablo suddenly feel a little bit more threatened. So we will see. Rotations are pretty deliberate so far. Neither team getting a huge advantage on the wave clear, though it looks like Macro Machines are taking a bit of a lead there. Blaze did come down to help the mid. Right now, US Army Esports going to start on the bottom camp. Diablo just checking in on the left side. Camp clear is okay, not super fast. Versus Hog or Tassadar. Who's wave clear, or who's camp clear, I should say. Pretty significantly ahead of the pace. One for one so far. I don't think we're going to see an invade here from Macro Machines. Looks like they're just set to clear up the bottom lane while the mid camp is claimed. And now we see Hogger for Macro Machines right at the 2-minute mark going and getting that Shaman camp top left started. US Army Esports. Ooh, Arcane 13th nearly caught there by Ace Boogie. One interaction you will see with the Oriole Tassadar is Oriole can whip people into Tassadar walls. So there's a little bit of setup and execution to be had there. Logger just finishing off this camp. Gonna cap it here at the 30-second mark. Right now, US Army Esports not going to get their Shaman camp straight away, but the objective is in the top lane. So even if they do start it late, they can get to the objective somewhat quicker. And it looks like Macro Machines might be setting up here on the bottom lane. No, they're gonna head up. Interesting that Muradin and Oriole were down there. I figured just an offlaner to go clear it up and then join. But they are all making their way up here. US Army Esports did not stop off at their Shaman camp. So they're just here for the fight, which I think leans into the strength of their comp. Hogger setting up a sideways spin here, a little bit offline. That line is pretty tough to set up on the top side. The other two are a little easier for Hogger to run. Poku getting some slams here on the side, as flipped over by Diablo though. Chastise follow-up does land onto 2. Ratson getting out of trouble there. Frack taking some hits, finally has to retreat. Sanger trying to move away from Sonya right now. Does have the overkill to reposition. Ace Boogie going in there, but gets rejected by Jimmy Bob Joe. USAE Frack, great job with the follow-up jet propulsion, though. So much damage, but nobody going down so far. Sanger trying to get Hoku and Jimmy Bob Joe, but can't do it. Ratson will finally be caught and removed. US Army Esports gets first blood. Trying to control this objective. Arcane 13th throwing in some damage, stealing a few minions, but it doesn't look like Macro Machines are going to be able to reclaim this point. They have sent Hogger away to try to get an experience advantage in lane. Blaze will now break off and try to grab some of that lane XP. Jump goes out onto Tassadar, unfortunately. Arcane 13th taking a bunch of damage trying to retreat from that one. The wall goes down. There's a stun onto the sidewall. Nice force wall to separate Diablo. Kael'thas combo still does land. Punisher will be removed for a little bit past half health there. And now we're going to see US Army Esports getting that Shaman camp. It'll be a little bit off timing, but at least they're getting it out. Camp claimed here. Macro Machines getting their mid-siege going. US Army Esports rotating safely here to the bottom lane. Looks like they might be wanting a fight. Anduin a bit behind. They're going straight for the bottom camp here. Boogie is going right after Ratson, flipping back onto the point. There's the wall whip. Sanger's got to watch out for that Tassadar damage that just sort of builds up over time. Oh no, Ratson is pushed off the point. US Army Esports gets the steal. Blaze here still dealing with the mid pressure. US Army Esports now going to grab their mid camp to put some pressure on the mid gate. Bottom camp cleared out without too much trouble here by Macro Machines. Arcane 13th is delayed. Follow-up damage is not there. Oh, Anduin going into the wrong side of town here. Gonna get just perma-stunned. Anduin falls, and US Army Esports now will not be able to jump on that 10 advantage. See them pick up the Lightning Breath, Bunker, Light Bomb, Odin, and Pyroblast. Macro Machines have Avatar, Leap, Shockwave, Black Hole, and Crystal Aegis. I think that Crystal Aegis is going to be pretty crucial in dealing with the opening salvo. Uh-oh, I think Ratson jump got interrupted. Has to try to use the Avatar. There's the Crystal Aegis, but only on 300 health. Lightning Breath comes out to secure the kill. Burden goes down. Now Oriel in the back line, trying to battle here, but will fall. US Army Esports picks up a double. All the while, Dark Knight picking up that Shaman Camp for the top lane. Next objective will be called in just a couple seconds here. Next Shrine activating in the mid. Hey Ruby, thank you for the well wishes. (11 to 11) here as Odin sieging down the mid. Sonya chasing out Blaze here in the top lane. Hoku going right under tower range is going to get caught there, taking a few shots. Both teams rotating up to see if they can make anything of it, but the two bruisers separate. Macro Machine's going to jump straight onto this objective. Bogey trying to go in there. Hogger setting up a spin. Nice route on the top side. Light Bomb comes out. Crystal Aegis once again coming in a bit late. Hoku, though, has the leap. Going to use it defensively to escape. Shockwave coming on out from Hogger to try to delay here. US Army Esports. Lightning Breath coming back up. Pyro too soon as well. And the Blaze Bunker still available as Ratson goes in there. There's the bunker coming on out as the Lightning Breath roasting Ratson. Burden has enough health to get away. Arcane 13th. Oh, is going to get hit. There comes the Pyroblast, and Tassadar will fall. Ratson trying to trade into the backline onto Meep, but now with nowhere to go, going to be taken out. That's another double here for US Army Esports. Ruby, thank you very much for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the show. Macro Machines feels like they're just on the edge of getting these takedowns, but I feel like level 16 is going to be a massive spike for the blue team. We'll have to see what talents they pick up, but if they go... Right now it looks like Sonya's building into Slam. Augur almost always takes percent damage on 16, and Tassadar takes percent damage on 16 a lot of the time as well. So I think that's going to be where we look for Macro Machines to really turn on these fights. Uh-oh, Tassadar was caught in the Ice Storm. Crystal Aegis coming on out. Arcane 13th goes down before the heal can land from Jimmy Bob Joe. Midfort will go down. Punisher jump, I think, was already used. He'll finally go out there and be going down. US Army Esports being a little bit greedy here, only sending 3 to the camp. Ratson gonna try to catch them. Tychus turning on the, oh my gosh, the trait from B-Sanger. Murden jumping in means Murden cannot jump out, and that's gonna be a pick for US Army Esports. They're gonna take the opportunity to siege this bottom lane. Last fort left here for Macro Machines in the bottom lane, now under siege. 2-level lead right now for US Army Esports. Bottom lane taking some damage, but they are out of minions for the meantime. They don't want to get caught by Tassadar's wall. Frack just trying to deal with the top lane pressure here. US Army Esports rotating to the mid. Hoku getting away from Diablo there. Back Shaman camps up. Hogger on that one straight away. U.S. Army Esports, they're coming across. They might be looking for a fight here. They do have 16s. This would be favorable. Tyke is going to step right up. Here comes Frack. Macro Machines wisely backs away. Great job pushing their advantage. U.S. Army Esports not letting anything go through for free. Ace Boogie. Ooh, Hoku. Using that leap. Probably a good idea, as it looked like Boogie was about to get the pin on that wall. Now U.S. Army Esports with their 16s. Just sieging top with this Odin. Tassadar trying to get some experience in the bottom lane. The rest of Macro Machines dealing with Blaze in the mid. But now the Keep is going to be taking a lot of damage, and this Shaman Camp is helping soak the shots. Goes down to about half there. Uh-oh. Arcane 13th going to be slowed. Frack gets up there, activates the trait. Where's the jet propulsion? Didn't come up in time. Arcane 13th barely gets away. Murpak, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate the support. Glad you're enjoying the show. Macro Machine's about halfway to level 16 right now. Blaze did go with those Incinerator Gauntlets, so can clear out those camps pretty quickly. As top shrine, Arcane Punisher is now activating. Tassadar getting an Oracle Vision onto that backline. Macro Machines moving in. So close to 16, we'll see those talents. Augur setting up the spin here. Ratson, though, getting caught in the back line, pops the Avatar and jumps away. Black Hole sent by Tassadar. Hoku trying to jump onto Frack. There's the Lightning Breath here from Diablo, trying to push Hoku away. There's the Pyroblast. Crystal Aegis denies. But Hoku, rooted in place, will be taken out here. Light Bomb into the back is going to stun onto Tassadar. Jimmy Bob Joe the next to be run down. And Macro Machines, I think they got their talents a little bit too late there. Hogger didn't even get a chance to lock it in yet. Tassadar did go percent damage on 16. Bottom fort going down to the camp is called out by the announcer there. Sonya did go slam on 16. Dark Knight still hasn't chosen that talent yet. There's that headbanger. Sanger just trying to get in range a little. Couple more auto attacks should do it, but does not want to step into Ratson's area of influence. U.S. Army Esports backing away. Macro Machines are back full strength. They aren't even talent tiers as well. So if there's a time to fight, it's now. They're going to just move on up here. Nice root from Kael'thas. First nice stun from Kael'thas, I should say. Frack here on the edge. They're focusing on Muradin. Pushed back and into the fray. There is the Black Hole denying further engage, though. Lightning Breath from Diablo. Creating a bit of a no-go zone here. Dark Knight is going to go down. Jimmy Bob Joe in the mix as well. There's the Pyroblast. Won't even be required. It's just double kill after double kill here for U.S. Army Esports, and they're going to lock up yet another Punisher.
Red team has summoned an Arcane Punisher.
This keep basically down already. This might be a slow push to core. They've got 20s here in just a moment. They can get another wave. That should do it. Oriel and Hogger are about to be back, though. U.S. Army Esports, they're not even waiting for the Punisher to get here. They're just starting up on this siege. Leap into the back from Hoku, stuns onto 3, but they've entered the pain train. Sonya goes down. Force shielding is low here, and this looks like it's probably going to be it. U.S. Army Esports with a healthy objective. There's Tassadar trying to create some space here. The Punisher's about to lock back onto the core. And this is going to be U.S. Army Esports with a dominant performance and victory here on Infernal Shrines. GG, well played. Very nicely done there by U.S. Army Esports. They took a very straight, not straightforward, but a very to-the-point composition, targeting that front line, and target that front line they did. Muradin, you know, a sturdy lad, but still able to be targeted down by the CC chain and the Tychus. Very nicely run there. Let's check out the post-game. Arcane 13th on the Tassadar, putting out quite a bit of damage, nearly 81,000 there. I think if they managed to hang on till 20s, they could have really turned that around, but they just lost a little too much ground there. U.S. Army Esports, only one death that game. B. Sanger on the Tychus, top hero damage, a little over 53,000. Take a look at the talents. Let's update the scoreboard and pay out the prediction. And we'll get ready for game 2. Alrighty. Going to Volskaya Foundry here for game number 2, once again as chosen by U.S. Army Esports. Let's go to the draft. Here we are. Oh, goodness gracious. Take a second. Make sure you're sitting up straight. Make sure you're not leaning forward like this. You sit like this? You sit like that? I do. My shoulders slump forward. My chin moves down. Now's the time. Posture check, team. Macro Machines mulling their first ban here for Volskaya Foundry. See if there's going to be any major changes in the plan from Macro Machines. Sticking with the Bright Wing first ban and with a quick Johanna choice here from U.S. Army Esports. Volskaya Foundry, a map that tends to go long. So heroes like Tassadar, who really come online in the late game, can get some work done. You're also thinking about your heroes like Zul'jin, like Leoric, who just have super powerful 20s. Vala, one that scales up into the late game. We shall see. Tassadar banned by Macro Machines. I was not expecting that, but they ban it away. Maybe that's something, maybe that's a shared hero in the pools for these teams. Very interesting, as Junkrat is next to be taken away. How you doing, Goon? Truly Mental. John Paul, Justin. People hanging out in the chat today, you love to see it. Macro Machines thinking about their first pick here. Arcane 13th. Gonna try to take that Tychus here first. So that's our draft adjustment from Macro Machines. They don't want to see that in the hands of U.S. Army Esports again. How you doing, Valcomer? Hope you're having a good almost evening. If we're up to Valcomer, games wouldn't start until midnight Eastern. That's all I'm saying. That one guy going back to the Anduin. Frack now in this game, taking Sylvanas. Ratson locking Diablo. Jimmy Bob Joe going now to the white main. Off meta healers only here for Macro Machines. You like that follow notice? Yeah. Watched back ages and ages ago. I still have Beat Crusaders on my, on my playlists. Sonya, the band from U.S. Army Esports. Gonna push Hoku onto something different here. Macro Machines still not wanting to see that Stitches Anduin combination. Must have been some research put into that one. B-Sanger picking up the Blaze here. Who played it last game? Was it B-Sanger? No, B-Sanger played the Tychus, didn't they? Maybe some switching around here with Frack entering the fray. Ace Boogie going for Garrosh. Interesting. So Blaze does provide some engage when in a full team fight, but Garrosh tends to lack, so they do have that somewhat covered. I wonder if we're going to see the mind control from Sylvanas for another little bit of a reach-out engage. Hoku going for Leoric here, and Dark Knight on Zeratul. The Zeratul's a cool pick here, because you're almost certainly going late when Zeratul gets strong, Leoric as well. Sylvanas and Anduin are somewhat targetable by Zeratul. That does mean Pro Basket has to take something that doesn't just get soloed by Zeratul. Gonna be Mephisto. Mephisto obviously not great at running away, but Mephisto can at least blink away for a moment when Zeratul engages. So that's not too bad. It's an interesting pick alongside Garrosh, though. See if they can make it work. I feel like this one's definitely going late. Here we go. Game number 2 on the left and the blue, looking to extend this series, is Macro Machines. Hoku on Leoric, Dark Knight playing Tychus, Jimmy Bob Joe on the white main, Ratson is on Diablo, and Arcane 13th is on Zeratul. On the right and the red, US Army Esports. That one guy on Anduin. Frack is on Sylvanas. Pro Basket on the Mephisto. Ace Boogie playing Garrosh, and B Sanger is on the Blaze.
3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin.
Game number 2 is underway. Garrosh pondering, considering options, and then riding out. I like the lore-accurate mount here of Garrosh. You got the Horde Wolf riding in there. Love to see it. So the early game here for Macro Machines with the Zeratul is going to be somewhat limited. US Army Esports, a much scarier early game comp. Sfrack is going to be targeted here, but has the Haunting Wave to move back to safety. I'd like to see US Army Esports get aggressive on these camps again. We saw them do it in game number 2 after they'd got sort of a mid-game lead. I feel like they could just walk over to the enemy turret camp right now and take it. See if that's what they want to do. Sylvanas just standing and trading there with Zeratul, saying, "You don't scare me, Invisible Man." Basket just working on this wave clear. Left side turret picked up by Macro Machines. US Army Esports starting their turret, leaving Sylvanas solo to do that, so that'll take a minute. Zeratul continuing to be a nuisance here. Nice patience there. Mephisto just a hair off with that chase. Yeah, Frack discovered here by Hoku and Dark Knight. They actually put down the turret to come and take the turret. An interesting choice. So now the turret does end up getting claimed by the side of US Army Esports, though Ace Boogie might get punished for this. The turret is then put down defensively, so no one's got any turrets. Unfortunate. It's okay. They'll have an opportunity to take him again soon. At least they use it. Some teams, it always stinks when you get it and you hold it for like 3-4 minutes waiting for the absolute perfect time, and then you just kind of put it down and it dies, or you die with it on your corpse and it's like, oh no. Ah no. At least these teams are remembering that they can put down the dang thing, because that's sometimes something that I forget. Control point getting ready to unlock here as you see the siege camp still being worked on. Do we see Mercenary Queen? It looks like it's possession here for Sylvanas. Oh, Looks like we got a little pause here. So we'll bring it on out. We got the Sleepy Cat cam. One got DC'd, 30 seconds, PC, problem. Unfortunate. Just a big old fluff ball. That's my buddy. So we'll chill here for a minute. Oh, Ready's already coming out. Alright. The 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Hey, we're back. Nothing ever happened. Let's get into the match again. Objective being contested here. Boogie sticking on the point. And it looks like US Army Esports will claim things for now. Frack once again being targeted here by Arcane 13th. Frack playing very fast and loose with these lanes will actually get punished this time. Has so far been able to trade out pretty well with Zeratul, but with the rest of the team there, could not get away. The HOTS 3.0 video with Lily and Tychus running around. Yeah, that's just an edited... It's an edited version of a, sort of like public use video. I decided the theme for this season would be everything is on fire. I don't know. Bisanger actually getting onto the point here to contest. Whoa, a big push though from the Protector. Is Ratson actually going to get away from this? Looks like yes, but for poor Whitemane, the answer is no. The camp is saved and taken back here by US Army Esports. I can't get over that push from the Protector. That is not an easy ability to lock onto a hero. How you doing, Cawthon? Sound asking how old Jin is. Jin is 12? Going to be 12? No, going to be 12 at the end of this year. $11 right now. Top wall being taken out by US Army Esports as Arcane 13th trying to get into that back line. Oh, nice chastise there by that one guy. Ratson was going in. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, I'm sure Leoric and Blaze are having an excellent time in their 1v1. Let's have some love for the offlaners, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, back to the action in the mid. Always got to throw a little love towards the offlaners. They got a job to do. They get to visit every once in a while and throw some abilities and then get back to lane. 10's in for both sides here. Macro Machines have the Entomb, Apocalypse, Odin, Void Prison, and whatever that one is from Whitemane. Scarlet Aegis. US Army Esports. They've got the Endurance of Hate, Bunker, Light Bomb, Decimate, and Mind Control. There's that Void Prison into the back. They're using it with the Diablo ult. Anduin going to be going down. Yeah, I've got both chats up, Valkymer. I just got two separate chat windows over on the right. Both right next to each other. $11-11 here. Pretty even on takedowns, even on structures. Ratson thrown into the one tower range. It's Probasket trying to follow up. Ooh, Bisanger trying to engage there, but coming up just short. Probasket, though, in range. Putting a bit of a hurt there onto Dark Knight and Ratson. Arcane 13th, though, causing some issues. Team's still a little bit underpowered here in the mid-game. I'd say but 16 starts to come online and 20 really comes online for both sides. Topside camps being taken by both teams. U.S. Army Esports letting this topside push. Looks like they're thinking about coming up to support here.
An access terminal will be online in a moment.
Checking in on our offlaners once again. B-Sanger. Getting snazzy. Putting some hurt on the gate. Too clear in the lane. Back to the action in the top lane. 13's on the horizon for both teams as Control Point B getting ready to unlock. Let's see if there's going to be a major scuffle here. Leo on the way. Blaze not on the way just yet.
Take control of it. Listen.
Frack using that possession to try to shape that wave in the mid. Oop, VP catches two here. Garrosh pushed away, put into the Entomb as well. Mephisto going to be caught and taken down. Arcane 13th trying to finish off Anduin, can't get the final hit, though Frack is caught on the outside, did not get to put down the turret, and now that belongs to Macro Machines. Once again, they just use it straight away. The Mad Lads, using the turret to tank the tower. I guess it soaks a few shots there. Top tower going down as Leoric starting to claim the Protector here. Blaze never actually got to come up. B-Sanger just staying on the bottom side, trying to get some free siege in here. Goku has to respond. So far, Macro Machines showing that this is probably not their first time running this Zeratul-Diablo combination. The follow-ups have been really, really nice. Get to 81% before Ace Boogie contests the point. B-Sanger just putting a little bit onto Zeratul there. Pro basket. Good poke like Mephisto's known for. Protector channel now starting for U.S. Army Esports. Not at 16 just yet. Blaze trying to catch up on XP. Oh my gosh, the VP hits again. Self-light bomb did come out. That one guy trying to move away. Does get the shielding here. Durance of Hate lands. Could this be the turnaround that U.S. Army Esports needed? Pro basket though, oh, doesn't get pulled in time. That one guy tried to get the save. Macro Machines, I mean, with this white main, it looks like they just didn't even take any damage. B-Sanger, ooh, that was a weird one. B-Sanger ultimately goes down. Anduin gonna fall as well, but Zeratul goes down under tower range. Got a little greedy on that one. Still a 3-for-1 here for Macro Machines. This Void Prison combination just continues to do work now for Macro Machines. I think we had like a Diablo flip and an Into the Fray. Oh, Sylvanas taken down behind the gate, did not respect the turret fire. Holy cow! The Protector with some very interesting pathing there, gets around the gate for the slam. This is the game of pathing so far. Goodness gracious. B-Sanger still trying to engage here as Macro Machines put a little bit of damage onto the keep and then backed away. But up about a level and a half right now. U.S. Army Esports are behind, but certainly not out of it just yet. Only one fort down so far, only a bit behind in experience, but they're about to have their 16s. Almost certainly this is going to be a 20 versus 20 game. Protector finally expiring here in the mid lane. Looks like we've got Odin used in the mid. Ratson getting a pin on the side. B-Sanger thrown out by Ace Boogie. Mind Control pulling Arcane 13th in for just a moment. VP onto 3. APOC goes out a little bit late, but does get the stun onto Anduin. Sylvanas got the unstoppable that time as she piles into the bunker. Jimmy Bob Joe gets hit by the light bomb stun. Gets a little bit of self-healing though. Whitemane just somehow continuing to survive here. Poku on the edge may be the sacrifice. Leo trying to move away. Will not be able to. US Army Esports picks up one there. A little bit of catch-up experience. Fights are getting a little more frenetic here as we start moving into the late game. You get the throw. The stun follow-up is fantastic from Blaze. Zeratul didn't have any buttons and will go down. I didn't think they were going to really be able to pin down Zeratul without the Warlord's challenge, but look at that. Goodness, I need some water. Sorry about that. Robasket thinking about checking the edge, but the rest of the team seems more interested in stealing the turret here. Zeratul still down for 15. Getting some turrets and items and such on side here is US Army Esports. Macro Machines. Much closer to level 20. They'd rather not take a fight until they get there. We'll see if they can stay away here. Poku using the long walk to get away from trouble. Control point C now getting ready to unlock. Macro Machine's about to have 20s, still a level away for US Army Esports. As they're going to get the top lane siege camp rolling. While Arcane 13th getting some side siege.
Access terminal online. Secure it to activate the protector.
Zeratul going to go ahead and get some of this channel going. Arcane 13th going to retreat though. See Macro Machines dealing with the top lane pressure before coming on down. US Army Esports. Don't know if they want this fight. Right now they're staying as 5 down here, but they don't have their 20s. I'd love to see Blaze just doing the off-lane soak thing and the rest of the team playing a little looser. Right now Macro Machines took a little bit of time to gather themselves before going in, and now US Army Esports retreats. Macro Machines notice the US Army Esports is not there, so they're just going to go ahead and pick up this bottom fort, no problem. US Army Esports going to try to trade for the top side, though the speed of demolition definitely favoring the side with the Odin here. US Army Esports, they're starting to back, but they have claimed their level 20s for the upcoming fight. Ace Boogie trying to threaten here. Does push away Macro Machines, who are about to claim this point C protector. See who piles on in there. Looks like it's Diablo and Tychus. They're going to be doing the business.
Blue team has taken control of
Falcomer evangelizing Decimate in the chat. I got no problem with the Decimate ability. I was just wondering, I was thinking, if they were going for Zeratul kills specifically, then Warlord's Challenge is the call, but that's not necessarily what you are focusing on, right? Slowing down Whitemane's retreat, slowing down Tychus's retreat, Diablo's retreat, all very useful things to do with that Decimate. Protector about to go down. Ooh, Frack trying to time out the mind control there, but the Protector survived for too long. There's the VP. Once again, Sylvanas avoids. That one guy has to do the self-light bomb, gets a stun there onto Diablo. Thrown back to safety as Arcane 13 continues to work the edge. Dark Knight, though, stopped by Garrosh. There's the silence in Tomb. There's a save, though, by that one guy. Once again, Arcane 13 can't quite wrap up that backline. Still working on Anduin. Hoku next to be thrown in, trying to walk away, but Leo goes down. US Army Esports, very nice maneuvering there, working on two fronts to survive and get that takedown. Mid fort will fall here. Now US Army Esports turning it on post 20. Arcane 13th trying to work the edge here. Now those level 20 Zeratul that you see just, you know, globaling down one hero in the backline are Might of the Nerazim build, generally. And this is much more of a team-fighting Zeratul build. So while Arcane 13 can get good poke on the sides, it's not going to be that, you know, globaling a Falstad or Jaina the way that you see in clips. There's a nice Entomb, but the rest of the team does not want to follow it up. Luckily, only a 50-second cooldown there for Leoric. Arcane 13th just trying to wrap up this structure and will do so. Both teams have all of their keeps, so no constant catapults in any lane right now. US Army Esports, they look like they're ready for a fight here. Hoku walking straight into the back line there. Just gonna go down. I'm not sure where Hoku was going. Got caught on a bad path and will be taken out. I mean, it is a Leoric. Leoric will be back momentarily. But not sure what the call was there from Macro Machines. US Army Esports going to try to put some pressure here in the mid. Frack, not going to be able to get onto the point in time. Mind Control does not connect. Black arrows coming on out from Sylvanas. As US Army Esports looks to siege the mid, they've got split pressure in the top lane. As Hoku's about to come back. One big team fight territory. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at here. Could come down. Probably not this protector. Definitely the next one would probably have the power to just walk at the core, unless the enemy is just whacking it the whole time. But yeah, with both teams kind of not really pushing the pace in the early game, we have entered the sudden death phase. US Army Esports occupying the point for now. Blaze showing in the bottom lane here. Macro Machines might look for an engage. Now Blaze is coming up to join the team. Ratson stepping in, going to be thrown into the back. Mind Control does connect. Chastise hitting as well, but Diablo staying fairly healthy. VP catches two here. Ratson hits the button. All the Unstoppables go out, though. Pro Basket is being mowed down by Tychus and will be first to fall in this fight. Entomb catches Anduin. That's going to be Sylvanas taken down as well. 3 takedowns here for Macro Machines. And it looks like they're thinking about winning bottom lane. Leo on the way here, still 40 seconds before anyone's up. Only Blaze and Garrosh remaining. They've got 30 seconds and they've got an Odin. They should have this. We shall see. Core is now being focused here by Macro Machines. As Dark Knight just trying to keep those attacks rolling. Still 20 seconds before anyone's out of the base here from US Army Esports. Core shielding is now gone. Dark Knight, though, is focusing on Blaze right now. And not the core. Still Hoku is whacking away. Core down to 50%, but here comes Mephisto. Diablo's pushed away, only down to 30% here. Arcane 13th is trying to hit it. 17% and counting. Hoku is going to be taken out. There goes Zeratul. Ratson is low. Dark Knight gets thrown away. 4%. Jimmy Bob Joe is going to go down. The core is saved at 2%. Oh no, they got cocky and they went after the Blaze. And Macro Machines does not secure victory just yet. Oh no, Tychus was turning around and auto-attacking the Blaze. That's one attack from Tychus away from winning that game. It's not over just yet, but because it's so far from one end of the map to the other, they're going to be able to get this keep. But it's 20 seconds before everyone's back. Are they just going to go for the core? Boogie is stepping up. 10 seconds on Zeratul, 13-14 on the others. Leo's about to come back here. They do have a couple catapults. US Army Esports now going to give it a go. Core shielding is gone, down to 70%. That Mimic, though, is shredding. But look at the VP in the back. Frack, though, is on the core, and US Army Esports lock it up. And they're going to take the 2-0 in a heartbreaker. GG. Wow. I thought we were going to a Game 3 for sure, but the siege just not on point there from Macro Machines. US Army Esports capitalizes with the save and run it down for the victory. Very nicely called, and a great defense there from US Army Esports for sure. Let's check out the post-game. Goodness gracious. Dark Knight on the Tychus. 8 takedowns on 1 death. Top siege, top hero damage at 85,000 for Macro Machines. Just playing a fantastic game there. Really doing good work. Over on the side of US Army Esports, it was Sylvanas eking ahead of Krush, interestingly enough, on that hero damage. 4 members above 40,000 hero damage over on the side of US Army Esports. Krush, 0 deaths that game. Played by Ace Boogie. We'll take a look at the talents here as we update the scoreboard and complete the prediction. And we'll see if we can get an interview with our winning team. Alrighty, let's get on over there. See if anyone comes to join.
I am stressed.
How you doing, Frack? Congrats on the probably one of the tighter 2-0s you've had to play.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, the whole team is like screaming at the like when they were at our core, we're like screaming.
Man,
that was a scary game. I haven't played against like a. I got to give them credit for like the VP APOC combo. I haven't played against that for like probably 2 or 3 years because Zeratul doesn't really run that build anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they played it pretty clean. Something we definitely like were not prepared to fight against, like kind of an instant engage option. So I think that they played it really, really well.
It is definitely an older combo that comes up not as often anymore. I mean, in that ganker spot, there's a lot of Genjis that we see nowadays, not so much on the Zeratul front. But yeah, I guess that's one you're going to have to put in the memory banks for future drafts.
Definitely. That was intense. Whew.
So, I mean, in that game number 2, it seemed pretty clear from the draft styles on both sides that the game was going to level 20. Did you feel like you had to make any adjustments, especially into that VP APOC once it started coming out? I saw a lot of unstoppables. It seemed like the spacing was getting better. Was that more of, you know, a personal responsibility thing to be able to deal with that, or was there some good team communication there?
I think there is definitely personal responsibility on the player and their micro in the sense of like, number one, not clumping around your teammates too much so he doesn't get a huge VP, and number two, how we react coming out of it, right? Because the stun happens, but we don't die instantly. So like, what do we do in that time frame? And then just a little bit of like miscommunication and like misplay from our team on getting into the bunker, like because after the stun, like you kind of need to get in the bunker and then all reposition on the same side of the bunker and kind of fight outward from there. And we just weren't really doing that fast enough. I mean, as you saw when we got wiped, 3 of us got wiped at the end of the game, and they went to our base. We got wiped because we didn't react properly around the bunker. We didn't get into it. It was kind of like down to the left. And I know I ran out with Will of the Forsaken, but we lost the other DPS and our healer just really, really quickly to us not, running for the bunker because you're kind of like, what's the word? Like knee-jerk reaction is to run away from the enemy team.
Yeah.
And so just a little bit of like communication and trust that we needed to like, hey, trust the bunker, trust Sanger to drop it and go to him instead of running away for yourself. So something that we definitely got to just look at, like how we react to a dive like that and to such a, like, I mean, most engages in the game have some sort of counter, and that one kind of just instantly pops up with the VP APOC. I got to give them credit. They timed it perfectly every single time. With Zeratol knowing the exact timer for the 1.75 seconds for APOC to go off, I think they did a really good job between the two of them.
It was quite the matchup. It seemed like game 3 on the horizon, but you steal that one back. Very, very well done. Just sort of looking forward in the schedule. I think C West, is C West a double round robin? Let me see here. No, that's a full set of teams.
I believe so.
So
Yeah,
are there any teams still on the schedule in the future that, some matchups from last season that you want to run back, or some new teams that you've been hoping to face?
Definitely. I mean, this is like a division full of teams we've fought for years. Spooky Ghost coming back from C East, where we haven't been able to fight them for a long time since most of us were stationed East Coast. Now we're stationed from Hawaii to Europe. We're all over the place right now, but let me think here. Roll 1, Cats on my keyboard, and Can't Counterpick Stupid. I'd probably say are the ones I'm the most excited to fight and rematch. Cats on my keyboard, like that's like our most intense rivalry. We have beat them every single regular season match ever and lost to them every playoffs match ever. And it drives me insane. So hoping to secure the win against them. Definitely good to have Clouded Minds in the division again as well. Me and Keon looking forward to offlane matchups there. There's just tons of teams that I'm here to fight. Borks Out of the Moon, we fought them last season. Sieve as well. So really everybody, like the whole division. The only teams that we're kind of new to, I think this season is going to be Macro Machines and I think Cosmos, I believe, are the only teams that we haven't really fought before.
Okay.
So kind of got one of those two down. Really excited. I think definitely we got really, really lucky in that last game. The one thing that their team comp did not have was a lot of building damage.
Yeah, it was pretty much
given the Zeratol
Tychus
build.
only.
Yeah, like Zeratol is not necessarily like the highest in terms of like actual like siege damage, and the only way he really kind of gets decent is if you take Warp Blade, which you don't take on that build.
Right.
So, I think we got really, really lucky. It was I was kind of in my head already, like ready for game 3, but I got to give credit to Ace and Sanger. They stalled and like interrupted just enough with the Decimate 20, taking away some of Odin's damage, throwing them away from the core, just being a general nuisance for a while.
Yeah.
Just long enough for us to get up and get the fight back. So I think we got extremely lucky. We'll take it, but I think that probably should have been a game 3 to fight for it all. So happy to get the points. It was definitely fun fighting Hoku's team. Haven't been able to fight them for years with us just being in C West, but I think it was a good match overall. I think that combo is pretty scary. I think if they maybe change what the other DPS is outside of Zeratol, I think it could be a really, really dangerous combo to run. I'm just not sure if Tychus really has like the damage they need to open up kills for Zeratol. He's kind of having to do a lot of it on his own, which is hard because that build is about like jumping in, jumping out versus actually trying to stay to finish a kill.
Yeah, we've seen like, Diablo Zeratul, like the full combo there. You put it with like a Jaina just to get big splash damage. Kael'thas can do it. Sometimes you see a Chromie get in there just because you're trying to get multiple people, which Tychus does struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely different ways you can build out that comp. Just looking at that comp, though, the white main seemed to really stymie you in a couple of those fights there, at least in the early going. Was that a focus in those fights just to try to make sure that white main wasn't just wailing on your team's front line the whole time, or did you notice
Well,
that as an
so
issue?
definitely because my first thought was like, I'm gonna go Wailing Arrow because it counters white main, and then when I realized that it was APOC and VP, I chose to go Mind Control to try to stop Zeratul when he dives this, or stop Diablo when he dives this. And I think that kind of hurt because no one else really counters White Man in our team comp. So we really had no answer for her except to try to like spread the damage out. Because the good thing about Mephisto is he gets damage on kind of everybody. And so definitely in our early game fights before Mephisto gets percent damage, like we were kind of just struggling to actually secure a kill. Even with Blaze and Garrosh, who have a lot of CC, it's just hard to secure a kill when your damage is being nerfed by the white main ult, with all the armor and the healing constantly coming out, and we didn't really have a counter for her. So, I think if I was to run that whole game back, I definitely would have gone Wailing instead.
Okay.
I think that would have been a very large contributor to us being able to like close out kills while she can't pump heals.
Right.
That would have been a very big counter. So I think I made a mistake there.
Well, nonetheless, you scrape by, you get the 2-0 victory, nicely done. And honestly, yeah, very nicely defended on that last core. Like there's a million ways to break down how that went, but ultimately you guys put together a very strong defense there and deserve to be able to go back. So great work on the 2-0. The floor is yours. Any final shout outs you'd like to make?
Same as usual. Shout out to US Army Esports. Shout out to all our spouses, kids, family, supporting us while we, serve in the Army, as well as giving us time to do these matches and practices and things like that. Shout out to you for picking up the cast. We appreciate it. It's always nice to go back and look at the VODs and kind of get someone else's opinion. And yeah, shout out both teams. I think it was a fun match. Really good. And I think Bonbon, or who in game was Meep, I think he did a really, really good job on KT. Something we actually haven't had him play very many mages in practice, and I think he did an awesome job in game one of punishing the triple front line. So definitely shout out to him. I think he did really, really well. And yeah, we're happy to look forward to the next match. Should be coming up. Let's see here. Roll One Esports this upcoming Wednesday. So that's the goal, to beat Roll One.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that one for sure. Fracture, thanks so much for coming on by. Congrats again on the win. Good luck on that next match.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate the cast and take care.